Greetings, everyone. Thank you and welcome. My name is Meenakshi, Angelic Alchemy Meenakshi. Thank you for being here. I wanted to talk a little bit about my own experience with respect to healing of the collective and what is going on in our world right now. And not just in the month of August, but the beginning of the year, which is around February, is when most of the happenings started to take place continuously. And I wanted to speak a little bit more about what where these are coming from, my perspective of what have been shown in my dream time and during the healings and meditations, as well as channel messages from the angels during the dreams, meditations, and healings. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about what we can do in the present circumstances and what our role is here and why we're experiencing all of this. So thank you for being here. I am a practitioner of Angelic Alchemy Hypnosis, Quantum Regression, as well as Angelic Alchemy Reiki, Angelic Alchemy Akashic Reading, and I am a spiritual mentor as well. So if you're interested in having a session with me or getting to know more about my work, you can visit my website at angelicalchemyholistichealing.com, as well as YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and Instagram by the same names. Thank you for being here. And I'm also a seer and a quantum alchemist, which means that I can, which is something that all of us are gifted with, but I've activated these gifts within myself, is the ability to be able to see, sense, feel, know, whatever is happening beyond the physical senses, as well as being a spiritual alchemist. What that means is using alchemy, using tools to basically convert anything which is inverted, which is not in its right state of being or its highest potential, and using alchemy or tools which could be sometimes as simple as love, sacred alchemy, intentions, to basically turn them into something positive, more fruitful for the collective, in service to others always. Okay, thank you so much for being here. And to start with, I wanted to share my experience with what happened in February of this year. On February 6th, as you all would remember, Turkey and Syria were both hit by powerful, devastating earthquakes. And that is where my journey started, with the ripple of everything else that happened. And as that happened, for some reason, sometimes you're just connected to some places because of past lives, and sometimes you just get called into missions, into healing certain areas more than others. And I felt my soul being drawn in and called to the healings of Turkey and Syria. And somehow I just felt very connected. Everything that was coming up, I was taking in, transmuting, and working on it with the divine. Basically, it's the angels and the divine that do the healing, and they just channel it through us. So we become like a bridge for them to be able to anchor those energies here on earth. And quite needless to say, when you're as an empath, I'm a very strong intuitive empath. So I feel a lot within my body, whatever is going on outside of me. So it could be like people around, or conversations, even emails, text messages, or even words. And even if there's no communication, I can feel energies of people and how they feel about things. And this is something that's just innate, and most of us are have it within ourselves to be that way. But over time, I had to learn how to modulate it and use it in terms of healing, so I'd know exactly what needs to be healed somewhere. However, sometimes it can, as empaths, as most of you are empaths as well, you would know, sometimes it gets a lot. It's too much to feel everything that is going on around you. And that's exactly what I felt in Syria and Turkey. So one of the days I was just about to hop into the shower, and I was just going through Facebook, because that's where most of the updates were coming at that point. And I don't listen to the news and get the news from there. It's okay to just get a gist of what's happening, but the actual videos being made by people that are on ground are the real source of where true information really comes from. They cover the ground. So as I was watching it, I was just about to hop into the shower. There was this video that pulled up, and there were all these children that were standing after the earthquake. Mostly, if you remember, and this is very emotional to talk about, when they were pulling out people from under the rubble in Syria and Turkey, they were mostly pulling out children for some reason. The parents had either died, or for some reason they were taking out children. And yes, there were a lot of adults that came out too, but there were a lot of children and whose parents were not found. And so they had these NGOs that were helping them. And all of these children in that video, they were standing in a line and they were toddlers. And just a moment. So I had to pause the video. And that's the reason I haven't made a video about it so far, because it is just so, the situation for the little ones and them being impacted each time is devastating. And so I was watching this video, and all of these children that were found, whose parents were not found yet, were standing in lines. And because obviously they wanted an organization, they wanted a method to it. And all of the volunteers that had traveled to be there, beautiful angels that left their homes and they volunteered to be there with them. They were, just prepping them for the morning, something the parents would have done for them. And, it was a winter time for them. We know Syria and Turkey gets cold as well in the winters. And all of these children were standing in the line. And there was this one, beautiful lady that was, she was squatting on the floor. And basically her role was to, wipe their faces down because it was morning, I guess. And she's using wet wipes to, clean their faces. And after cleaning their faces, she was applying moisturizers on their face. Very lovingly. I could sense the energy. And there was this one child, he was a toddler, just about 2, maybe 3 plus. And as she was doing that for him, she had to just keep, she'd put the moisturizer and then he would start crying. And there was so much fear. There was so much fear and trauma in his eyes. So there was so much fear and trauma in his eyes. And she kept putting the moisturizer, and then he would cry. And then she would tell him not to cry, and she'd wipe his face again. And again, she'd put the moisturizer. So she did it, I think she did it 2-3 times. And as I was looking in, to his eyes, just looking at what he was going through, sending him love, basically, and through him, just sending love to all the children there as well. Because on the side, there was another child, he was 4 or 5 years old, and there was another person kneeling down to talk to him, and that child was, words cannot describe what these children have been through. And so because they don't have their parents in the most critical traumatic event of their lifetime. And so as I looked into this child's eyes, I was just sending love to all of them. I just got pulled in to this vortex, and my consciousness just went into this vortex where they all were. And I didn't know about this vortex and what exactly happened, but physically what happened with me was that I started hyperventilating. It was like a panic attack. And as I was hyperventilating, and this time and space that I got pulled into, and the angels were with me, because whenever I'm doing anything, I call them, even if it's like looking at a video, I ask them to send, there are sometimes emails, messages from people, just asking for love for a child who's in the hospital and stuff. And, I work with the angels, just like many of you do. Archangel Raphael, Metatron, Michael, everybody, Divine Mother, to send love to them and heal them. So they do it, and we just call them and bring their attention to it, which obviously they know, but, if they want to anchor those energies. And so I started hyperventilating, and it was like a panic attack. And, my husband had to come in and hold me, and it took a while. I just couldn't stop. I couldn't get my breath back. And it was really long. And in that moment of time and space that I went into, because I checked with the angels too, later I went back again to see what was going on, and we went into that vortex again for the healing of that vortex. Basically what happened was I went into that time and space, or that vortex, where the energies of souls of all of these people that had died in the earthquake, which was close to 50,000 officially, and all of these children that were left behind, so the ones that left their parents, that the children left behind, and all those that were left behind, their loved ones are gone. I could feel all of their pain, trauma, fear, whatever emotions they were going through. I could feel them. And that's why I went into this, panic attack. And started hyperventilating, and it was rough. It was really rough. It is one of the most toughest experiences of my life as a healer, and it was meant to happen. I was meant to go through that experience to really feel what we're healing here. We do send love, but sometimes when you really tap into what you're sending love to, it's hard to take. And then obviously we need to, step out a little bit, come to the 0 point, calm yourself down, balance yourself, and then do the healing. But sometimes when you go into the healing, you go into whatever form your higher self is, and that's what happened with me. And we were like, bring on everybody, all the angels, everybody, divine mother, divine father, goddesses, gods, everybody. There's a huge collective of army there to help with that mission as well. And so that's what happened. That's the kind of trauma that was there. And, I remember taking the next few days off because I just wanted to focus on healing Syria, Turkey, as well as everything that I was feeling from it, balancing all of that out. And so what had basically happened, I went into meditations and asked for visions, and also during the healing, as I called in divine mother, divine father, goddesses, gods, everybody was there. So what they showed me was that there is this, first of all, going back a little bit into its history, we know what Syria and Turkey have been through politically. So I don't need to go there, but we know that they've had a lot of political attacks on them, constant bombarding all the time of their land. And as that happens, it creates a ripple of trauma within the dragon lines, within the ley lines. And again, taking a little step back, talking a little bit about Turkey and Syria, why Turkey and Syria, every time that those countries have been through a lot. They're sacred lands. They are ancient sacred lands that hold sacred scriptures, sacred codes, a lot of crystalline information from the past. And they have underground caves that have all of that information, all of the wisdom. As I was working with them, they said, I said, why Turkey and Syria every time? And they said, basically, I was looking at a map. I have a huge map, and they showed me Turkey. If you notice, Turkey, it is a physical bridge between two continents. It's a bridge between Asia and Russia and Europe. And it's not just a physical bridge, it's an energetic bridge connecting the two continents, and therefore also a bridge to the keys that are on this side and the ones that are on that side. And in itself, Turkey is a key as well. And it is connected to beautiful sacred dimensions that are below it through the sacred lands, which obviously you can only visit if you have the right vibration for it. And so that's why they've been targeted. And the beauty of it was they also said that Turkey is directly connected to the Divine Mother's heart. Turkey and Syria are directly, through the ley lines, are directly connected to the Divine Mother's heart. And as they were showing me the map, and they just physically moved my head, because it literally just moved like that. Like, look at that. And then I noticed that Turkey connects with Bulgaria, which is the next country there. And the capital of Bulgaria is Sofia. So basically they were just telling me about Divine Mother, because they were mentioning Divine Mother's heart. They just showed me that there's also like a city there, it's the capital of Bulgaria, it's Sofia. So basically Turkey is a bridge to the two continents, and it's connecting the continents, connecting the keys. It is a key and a bridge in itself as well. And the constant political attacks have, everything is just connected, basically. As we know, everything is connected. There's an intention behind everything that happens. And so with all of those attacks, it's disturbed the ley lines of the area. It's caused a lot of traumas in them. So it becomes easier for them to be further attacked energetically, spiritually, and in many other ways. And so basically for the earthquake specifically, with the Lebanon, which is again on the side of Syria, if you notice, had also had an earthquake, I think the same year, or maybe it was last year. And then Syria and Turkey, they were going through this now. So one of the things that I could see, and I'm sure there were many, was there's this big, I think I saw it from the backside first. I saw an ant first. So it was like an ant race. So there was an ant there, like a humanoid ant, parallel to the floor, to the ground. And then there was a big, in front of the ant, where the mouth should be, there was a big, like a propeller machine sort of a thing. And it was just spinning. So basically with the ant humanoid race, they were using the organic intelligence or memory or whatever they could, the organic of our universe, and that inverted that ant, and they had created this machine around it to open portals. And through those open portals, they could bring about disturbances and imbalances on the land. And that was one of the many things that were there. So yes. And then what happened, basically, a lot of people, some people were rescued, but, a lot of people died. They were like, if you look at the numbers, it's huge. And they were on record, there were hundreds of children that were without their parents after this. And yes, so, obviously there was a lot of healing that occurred as well, with all of the angels stepping in. And, Archangel Michael said that, they want to bless them, and they want to make sure these children are adopted out in the most beautiful families, just making intentions. That's our role here. And there was this beautiful baby that was born under the rubble during the earthquake, and her mother died after giving birth to her, and she was pulled out, just this baby, this newborn baby. And obviously she didn't have any clothes on her in the thick of winters, and she was pulled out and rushed, and miraculously she was saved. But she didn't have a mother anymore, and I think her father died as well. Her entire family died. And she was taken to the hospital, and I knew I was following up to see what was going on, sending lots of love. And there were lots of people that lined up to adopt her, and they refused to give the baby, obviously, to anyone specifically in these conditions. But someone from their neighborhood, connected to them, like relatives, they stepped forward, and they just had their baby boy, I think the same day or within days of that baby, and they knew the mother and the father as their own cousins, and they're all related. These are villages that we're talking about. These are not cities. This is where villages live like communities. They stand up for each other, and especially in such cases. And this was a private video. This is not a MSM or any of the other news, but there was an interview that they did of the father of the baby and of the other boy that was born. And this set of parents, they were connected to this baby's parents, and they stepped forth and they said, we want to adopt her because she is, basically, we know her parents, we know everything about the life and the history of her family, and if she stays with us, she's going to be within this village, and she'll live in the environment that her parents were in, and her cousins, her family, friends, everyone's here. And that they just had a baby boy, and they said that she completes it, and both of them will grow together as twins. Yes. And they allowed them to adopt it. I think they produced papers and proofs and everything. And then they were just showing how excited they were to receive that baby. And there's a video around that as well. So, there is help, there is love, there's so much that the angels do and the higher dimensional beings do to, not undo. You can't undo what has been done, but to make the best of what next can be done for them. What is the next best potential possibility for them? And they're here to help and anchor all of that. And we are here for that as well, to anchor in those energies. So that was Syria and Turkey. And then moving on, in July, as we know, India got hit by the worst monsoons rain that has ever occurred, specifically in the Himalayan region, the north region, the northeastern region, through the Himalayas on top, all the way cloudbursts, and there were floods that washed away. Hundreds of people died. Thousands of buildings, structures were swept away by the landslides that happened, and people were dislocated from their lands. And again, these are sacred lands because these are the Himalayas. This is where the goddesses and the gods walked the earth when they were here live, and their energies are still there within the codes of these lands, in the forests and the trees, and the people that live there as well, they carry on those codes. And we saw that happen again during the healing. There were huge portals in sacred sites. Some of them were forming sort of like negative dark pyramids. So one portal on top, and there'd be like 2 or 3 at the base, and it would form like a pyramid, bringing in these dark energies. And then again from the sky, it was clearly as I could see, those cloudbursts were not real. They were not natural. They were caused, and there were a lot of negative dark spaceships that were involved in that as well. Again, this is my experience spiritually, energetically, through dreamtime meditation and the healing work that I have done. And that's what I wanted to share. So that is India. And then we come to Hawaii, and we've all seen what has happened in Hawaii post the 8/8 portal. I think it was on the same day, in fact. So again, we all know Hawaii, our sacred lands. It is carries the codes of ancient Lemuria, and the coding of that also carries on if you just draw the line all the way up to California and Canada, the Western Canada, Vancouver, British Columbia area. This is all the ley lines for Lemuria. Okay, so Hawaii, California, and Vancouver, British Columbia, Kelowna, Okanagan Valley, they all are on the same sacred line belt of Lemuria. And so if you notice, the fires also, started in Hawaii, and California has its own fires. And within Canada, the Okanagan Valley, specifically Kelowna and the region, they have been lit on fire as well. So talking a little bit about Hawaii, within that same week, or I think it was the next week, I think it was August 18th, or around that time is when I had the dream of what happened in Hawaii. So it was a backdated dream of what they were showing in those times, because when things like these happen, the light workers, healers, group workers, warriors, the energetic warriors, light warriors, whatever we came here to do, we jump into action energetically. So even if physically you feel you're not doing much, and you're sending love, but energetically in your dream time you're going to those wars, and that is exactly what happens. And so in my dream, related to Hawaii, what I saw was I was on a ship or a boat. I don't remember the whole vessel completely, and I know my husband was with me, and there were many light workers. We were on it, and we could see attacks. We were on the boat, on it was the ocean, and we looked up and we saw these beings, which were inverted beings. They were dark beings. They were standing on kind of like I don't know if you see them in movies, these tube-like things that people have, and there's a platform that you put your foot on, and then it just propels you into the water, and you're just hanging in air. So they were wearing those kind of technology. I don't know what that is, but that's what I saw. They were wearing it, and some of them possibly didn't need those as well, because they're all energetic beings. Excuse me. And they were in the sky, and they had very obviously sinister energy to them. They had smiles and smirk, and they looked very confident in what they were doing. And as we looked up, we saw these huge dark portals, which were dark clouds, like brown, gray color clouds, just clouds of energies, like you can say dust and clouds, and they were just like spinning and spinning and spinning, and they were huge. They could cover a huge area, huge circumference. And we looked up and we said, oh my God, look, it's coming from the top. And then there was this energy coming in through these portals, which these beings were channeling in negative energies. And I remember saying, oh my God, look, it's coming from the skies. They're attacking from the skies. And we looked up, and then we could see it, and they were smiling, and they were like throwing all of this energy down. And at the same time, from the ship or the boat that I was in, I could see the water, and through the water, I could see there was these, what do you call them? We call them tools, weapons. So there were these weapons that were just by themselves in the water, kind of like missiles, but like smaller versions of them. So if you cut the tip of the bullet, and then it's just like the top of it, but really huge still. And they were going in the water, and they were spinning, and they were in the water. And I said, oh my God, they're polluting the water too. They're doing it in the water too. And look at that, and just as I say that, and, obviously we were working on removing it, fighting it, whatever we were doing. And I was bringing their attention to the weapon that was in the water, and we had not noticed it so far, that it was from the sky and it was also in the water. And just as we were doing that, we saw the dragons come in. So there was this main dragon. It was a black dragon that just was swimming in the water. So we could literally just see like this part of the dragon with the wings stretched out, but it was still like in the water. And you could see the face of the dragon was half up, so we could see the golden eyes. It was black like a lava dragon, but it had beautiful golden eyes, and there was this beautiful golden energy coming off of the eyes. And I said, oh, there's a dragon there. And then, the dragons are here. And the dragons came in, and there was a sea of dragons. This dragon was not alone, of course. There was a sea of dragons. There were elemental beings of the sea, creatures, dolphins, whales. They were all fighting this energy that was coming in, clearing it, transmuting all the dark energy that was coming in. So there was a lot that was going on. And what I felt was, in that time and space, when we were on the ships or the boats, we were also going in for the same reason, was that we were caught unaware as well. We were caught unaware of the dark attacks that were coming in, how and where they were coming from, and what was being used for it, specifically the portals being opened, and then those weapons in the water and all of the dark energies just coming through the portals. And so that's what it was. And we all have seen what has happened there. And again, the children, we don't know what happened to all those children. They say there were 1,000, 1,200. We don't know the number, and we don't know the exact number. What happened to them? Where are they? There's seems to be no accountability, and it's like they're just dismissing it off or just ignoring it. And again, we notice how the children get targeted with every attack. The children seem to be the center point of the prize that perhaps what they're looking for, which is something that they try to cover up in other news channels. When they talk about, they just downplay the numbers, or they don't talk about it. And then obviously you all must be doing it as well. We're all pitching in, putting in energy and energy work and love, working with the angels to make sure the highest frequency of source love goes there, to those beautiful sacred lands of Divine Mother Pele and the ancestors and the beautiful native, the original beautiful race of Hawaii, sending them love for whatever they're going through, and they hold the codes within them to heal the land. And I'm sure that through their energies, through their bodies, the lands will be healed, and they have the sacred knowledge to heal their lands. But whatever we can do from our side. And moving on now to the Okanagan Valley, which is Kelowna. And as we all know, at least within Canada, it is one of the most favorite spots for everyone, for the tourists to visit every summer. And it is a summer place, basically. And the lake is beautiful, and they have beautiful, rich harvest of the grapes and the peaches and the plums and the fruits and the apples and the orchards. And you see the best of Mother Nature there. Very flourishing, and it's just so beautiful and abundant. And year after year there are fires there for some reason. And so again, we're working on that. I think 33,000 people on paper officially, they say, have been dislocated from their homes. They've lost their homes in fire. They've lost their lands, all the fruits, whatever was going on, animals, birds, everything's being affected. Obviously it comes into the fire. How did the fire come? And there are just so many videos floating out there on Facebook as well that people are trying to escape, but for some reason they've closed the bridge, and people are questioning. They're trying to find out what is going on, and we need to leave from here. No, they've blocked it. They put a barricade and they've blocked it for some reason. So there's a lot that is going on in those lands as well. Again, Kelowna, the lake is very beautiful. It is sacred. People don't just come there for the lands, but they get pulled towards the beautiful energy of the lake. It has a beautiful, positive, organic vortex of energy, and again, leads to the sacred dimensions below as well. And now looking into, who's causing this, who's behind all of this. And basically what the angels have explained and clearly shown is that it is a nexus of entities and organizations that are against ascension on a larger scale, but on looking at it from just the point of Earth, they are working on agendas which are evil and diabolical, as you all have seen, and I'm sure you all have sensed it as well, where there are many agendas behind depopulation, behind fear, a lot of fear of the collective, and then to cause fear and trauma and dependency on the governments, the political parties, and money mongers. And obviously they're going to flourish from whatever comes next. There's a whole agenda that they have planned out. And they're also roping in climate change. If you notice, they'll just keep talking about climate change. This is happening because of climate change. Yes, organically, yes, Mother Gaia, Mother Earth has been hurt and traumatized by all the deforestation that has happened, all the buildings that have come in, all the pollution that is here. Yes, organically, that is somewhere the core, but there is not as bad as they are making it to be. And they are using artificial help and all of this artificial intelligence and weapons to basically cause more fear by causing these traumatic events. There's a website where you can go and you can look up where the fires are in the world and where the earthquakes are. You will just see it's just all over. There's no place that is safe from it. It is going on. And so that is what is going on. So that is the who and the why behind it. And children are involved, and that's why, we all get called in, and we all must wake up and do what we came here to do. So that is what I want to talk about next. What do we do here? What can we do? Is this a hopeless situation for all of us? So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. As an alchemist, what I've been taught by the angels and my guides and my higher self is basically always to step in to do what you can do. So to remember who we are, to remember why we came here. If not now, then when? This is a call to all the light workers, starseeds, light warriors, energy healers, prana practitioners, grid workers, coders, catalysts, everything that you came here to do. This is your wake-up call. And this is a reminder to each one of you, each one of us, to remember who we are and to remember why we came here and what our role is, and to step into the power. And when I say power, again, the power of knowing who you are, of that activation, of that connection directly with source, with your higher selves, with the higher guidance, higher dimensional beings that are here. And this galactic war, the spiritual war that is going on right now, turned into a physical war, with all the people being affected here in the physical as well. Remember that no matter how dark the dark gets, it cannot overshine or overpower the love of the creator source, which is you, which is I, which is all of us. So let's step into our power, remember who we are, activate those gifts, and do what we came here to do. This is the time. There is no time anymore of self-doubt, doubting yourself, pulling another person down, focusing on other things. Focus within and work on our own inner work, our own shadow work. What is it that is stopping us from stepping into our power? Remove it, let it go, heal it, and then step in. And as you do that, wake up your other brothers and sisters that are around you by spreading awareness and reminding them how beautiful they are, that they are not. Yes, those that come into the eye of the storm, people in Hawaii who went through it physically, people in Okanagan, people in India who actually were in the eye of the storm that went through it. They're in that experience at that point. They are in that vortex, the dark vortex of whatever's going on. What about us that are just watching? So this is where we step in and we do everything that we can do. Okay, so we start by sending love to these areas. We call in divine guidance to make sure only the highest frequency of love flows through us. We send in love, we send in healing energies, we activate our dragons, we work with the elements, we work with the elemental beings, dragons, fairies, pixies, griffins, phoenix, our beautiful dragons and phoenixes are here. Activate your phoenix, activate your dragon, talk to them, connect with them, and send love and transmute anything that you see that's dark. Bring in the angels, tell them you don't sense the energy to be very good in the area that you are in. They will help you cleanse it, they will channel it through you to help to cleanse it. Work with, clear the dragon lines, clear the ley lines that you are on. You can do that by just simply being where you are, whichever area that you live in. Make sure knowing very well that all of us are connected to ley lines in some way or the other. Some are directly over it, some are maybe a little distance, but we're all connected with it. Just healing your own area, your own residential area itself will send that ripple of healing into the ley lines, into the dragon lines. It'll activate the dragons. It'll reduce, transmute, remove all of that trauma that's gone in so that it does not pull in or allow for more trauma to come into those lines. The lines will then light up with light codes and activate themselves. And, it's a ripple. It's this energy that just spreads. And while you're doing all of this, remember that as you are this warrior, so are your pet companions, your cats, your dogs, whatever form you have your pets in, parrots, birds. They are all connected. The birds are all connected to the blue avian race that oversees them. And the animals and, that you have, the dogs, the cats, they're the feline races, they're the dragons, they're the huge elemental beings, the griffins that are there, the gargoyles that are there. They come to be with you, to be by your side, to fight these wars and to protect your family and you. So they're around you. And while you're doing this, they're doing it too. So just remember to make sure that we protect our pets, give them a lot of love, and just watch their habits, and specifically if they are throwing up a lot in the house, that means they've taken on too many energies and they're transmuting darkness and from somebody, or they've had some attachment which they're trying to release, or some dark energy that they took into transmute and now they're purging it out. So give them extra love, give them lots of water, good food, and make sure they're protected and taken care of, and also heal them. Yes, you can go to healers to also get Reikis and other healings done for your pets. But remember that you are your best healer for your beautiful pet companions. And I say that to all my clients that step forth for it. Once the healing is done, but the pets are in your company, in your home and in your sacred land. So whatever goes on in your home affects the pets too. So making sure that you protect the pets from that, send them love, watch their eating habits, watch them walk, watch how much they're sleeping. You will know how much energy work needs to be done on them or how much healing they need. Just sit down with them, just rub your hands, activate your chakras by simply just rubbing your hands, because we all have these chakras and they just need centering, connecting with source energy, and then it just gets activated. You just imagine that love light coming from your heart going into your hands, and you just place them on your cats, your dogs, wherever you think they need it. You can also do, all of their chakras. You can place it on the crown, their third eye, their neck and throat, their mouths, their spine, and then go through their heart, solar plexus, sacral chakra, root chakra, their paws, both their and all of their four legs. Make sure you check the paws. There's a lot that happens in their paws. There's sometimes portals there. So healing them as well, and making sure that as you're doing this, as you're anchoring this love light, performing the role that you perform, whether you're a grid worker, whether you're an energy healer, catalyst, coder, whatever you came here to do, making sure you also take care of yourself. You recenter yourself, you rest, and you eat well, you drink well, you nourish yourself with the most beautiful fruits, vegetables, whatever mother grows and gives us is what we should be sticking to, because that actually increases our frequency, makes us more crystalline, and the energy codes that we hold within us, they light up as well, and it's easier for the angels and higher dimensional beings to channel in those energies through us. So yes, and spread awareness, and let people know it's not just climate change. There is a lot that is going on beyond that, and to not succumb to fear, to question the narrative, to question everything that you're being told, and listen from your heart. See how something feels to your heart, and seek the guidance of your heart. Your heart will always guide you. Okay, thank you. This is what I wanted to share, my own personal experience through this year, journeying through all the events that have happened during the collective healing that I've been a part of, as well as channel messages and dreams. I hope they help you. And if you have anything to share, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. I love you all. Thank you for stepping into your power and remembering who you are. Thank you for everything that you do. I respect you so much for it. I love you. I love you. I love you.